Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be working on fixing and relocating a couple of our past projects. And this right here is the first one. At one point in time, this 3-layer topiary looked like a topiary, and it also was standing straight in the container. And as you can see over time, it has leaned itself backwards, and it really needs to be trimmed up, shaped up a lot. And you know, that's just how gardening goes. Sometimes we have to make adjustments. Like this birch tree that's right above us, it was a lot smaller when we initially put the topiary over here. So initially the plant was getting plenty of sunshine, but now once this tree leaves fully out, it really shades this spot. And this is a juniper and it needs a lot more sun than it's getting. So if we can move it somewhere where it can get that, I think it's going to be much happier. So that's project number one. Let me show you project number two. Here it is. Do you remember last year we planted this container? It's kind of like a rusty looking bowl. It's really cool looking, but we planted it full of sempervivums, and a few of them, I think they rotted out. It was getting too much water last summer. And then, you know, a lot of them need to be groomed. This just needs to be cleaned up. And then same with this one right here. I had a few leftover semps when I was done planting this container. So I popped them all in here, and I was thinking we could take these out and fill this one back in. And then I've got a few extras just in case we want to pop some fresh ones in. But I just want to do a full-on refresh of this container. We also have some blooms coming off one of these, which means the original mother plant is going to die, but there's a ton of babies around it, which is nice. And we've got a whole bunch of them that have grown and are dangling over the edge, and we can take those off and, you know, pop them back up in here and use those. And then I also have a Japanese maple that we've had on the patio area back by our kitchen entrance. I've had it in its wood box that it came in last year and the year before. So once we have this juniper topiary planted out somewhere in the landscape, I would like to reuse this container for that Japanese maple. And I think, even though I feel like I could use an even bigger pot than this, I think the Japanese maple will be happier at least getting out of the wood box and put in something slightly larger. Hey Aaron, would you help me with something real fast? Perfect timing. I'm going to see if he'll help me pop it out of this bed, because it looks like Paul and Bethany are working on this area to get it all mulched today. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. Well, that was perfect timing. Now it's out of Paul and Bethany's way. So now what I think I'm going to do is just run around and figure out where this plant is going to go. I would like to plant it straight in the landscape. I've only got one of them though, and usually with topiaries I'm always flanking something. And there was originally one here where this one was, and then I had the other topiary over here. And that other one ended up getting spider mites so bad that we just bagged the whole thing, cut it off at the base and tossed it, because it became like past the point of being worth trying to treat. So that one hasn't had the topiary for a while, but we'll get this one planted in the ground somewhere. I'm kind of excited. Wonder how it would look right here. Would that look weird? I like to look at all the options though first. Oh gosh. Look at that autumn brilliant serviceberry. We gotta stop. Look at how gorgeous this tree is. Oh, full glory right now. With a bunch of the Bella Estrella daffodils right below it. Gosh, that's gorgeous. You know what, you guys? I wonder how it would look right in here. Because I don't really have a lot of, I mean, there's a Scotch pine right there, but there's not a whole lot of other evergreen interest over on this side. And it might be kind of fun to have something a little bit more structural right there. And we're a little bit trying to stay away from formal plantings out here because nothing about the South Garden is formal. But if we just have a little touch here and there, I don't think that would be bad. Might look kind of sweet. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna set the topiary on a tarp or something like that where we can trim it up and gather up all the trimmings, and then we'll haul it out and plant it. right, you guys, we're out here in the south garden. As you can see, we're not quite done with our trim up. I figured, I should probably get it set upright straight in the hole so that I can shape these spheres properly, and then I'll be able to reach the top a lot easier. But I got the main scruff off of it and it's looking a lot better. And I think it's gonna look awesome right here. And Aaron is kind of tied up at the moment, but I think he might come out and help me dig the hole. I'm wondering if it's worth it to go put on real shoes or dig what I can with my sandals on. Probably not the best to do it with sandals, but I don't want to take the time. So I am going to get started on the hole, see how far we can get before Aaron gets out here. Look at how pretty this ended up out here. I love it. And it doesn't hurt, that the serviceberry and the daffodils back there look so beautiful, providing a beautiful backdrop. And it was a little bit unfortunate, but the bottom layer happened to be the most kind of skimpy one. I need to have it kind of broaden out right in here. And so I decided to leave the upper ones kind of their normal shape and size and not take them down to kind of match the size of this one. Instead, I'm just hoping that this one will fill in. Now that it's out here, it's got a ton of space to grow and full sun. I think it will put on a lot of growth quickly. And here's a look from the other directions. I love seeing the structure out here. And of course, this whole space will start looking like it has more structure once everything has a chance to kind of grow up a little bit more. I mean, this is our, 4th season since we broke ground on this area. And the whole first season, we only got a small handful of things planted, like the Spring Grove arborvitaes, a few of the trees. Most of the things that you see out here were added last year and the year before, which is kind of crazy to me, especially in about, another month or 2 months. It will look so much fuller than it does now even. And I love that addition, so fun. And once everything leaves out around that, it will look a little bit more tucked in and not quite so perched, which will also look good, I think. Okay, so now I've got to go dump a bunch of this extra soil out in the dirt lands so that we can go and maybe pot up the Japanese maple next. I really hope it fits in this pot. I don't know if it's going to. And there it is, all potted up in a slightly larger pot than it was in before. In fact, there was probably, 3 or 4 inches on either side of the root ball, which makes me feel like we'll get at least 1 good season out of that container for this tree, maybe 2 if we keep fertilizer going. But I used 1 bag of Land and Sea in with about 1.5 bags of regular potting soil, so there's a lot of nutrients now packed in there that this tree can feed from. Plus, we already fed it with Plantone, and it's been watered in a few times since we applied the Plantone a few weeks ago. So this is a Final Fire maple. It's in the Pacific Rim collection from Isley Nursery, which, they have so many beautiful specimen trees. And I'm going to read you the description for the colors of this tree because I could never put into words how they have what this tree does. It's a phenomenal tree. And it grows about 15 feet tall by 12 feet wide, planted in the ground. In the container, of course, it's going to stay smaller, and it's a hardy to a zone 5, which is negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. But the description on the color: spring foliage emerges in pastel tones of mango, yellow, orange with brush strokes of pink and light canary yellow. Then they turn in midsummer to a deep glossy green, and the leaves are larger and thicker than typical Japanese maples. And then dramatic red color in autumn. which is absolutely true. I mean, I can't even describe what this tree does in the autumn. I posted a reel of it, not this last fall, but the fall before, or pictures or something, but it like turns that bright fire red from the inside out. So it's just the most interesting tree, and I just love it. And it looks like it's going to leaf out everywhere. I don't think see any dead branches, except for maybe this one, which I probably did that while I was moving it around today. But if you look in close there, you can see just buds everywhere. It's healthy, and I'm thankful for as long as I kept it in that little container. It really hasn't gotten too angry with me over that. But you probably noticed I was able to pry it open with a hammer. That's the only tool that I really needed. I thought that those straps around the box, there's like one on the top and one on the bottom, I thought those were metal. So I brought the tin snips out, and I didn't even need them. So I was able just to cut those and then pry the box apart with a hammer. And then I took my Felcos and used those on the root ball, even though it still looked like a square when I put it in here. I roughed up the roots enough to where I think that they won't have any problem punching out and utilizing the fresh soil that's now around the root ball of this tree. So what a fun thing to move a topiary, freshen it up, move it out into a new location where it's going to be happier. Potting this one so it will be happier. It just feels good. So our last project of the day is just to refresh that Sempervivum container, which I want to put out by the pond, I think. I think that container kind of lends itself to that area, but I'm going to do the refresh on the table in front of the greenhouse because it's in the shade right now. And oh my gosh, look at this mess. What a mess in the back of the gator right now. Okay, here we are in the shade of the weeping willow. It's really pleasant over here right now. So we've got our Sempervivum container over here. You can see it was placed near a geranium that was losing its petals. I think what I'll do first is I'm going to go through and groom up everything that's in here and take all of the dangly ones off. Just kind of clean it up a little bit. So we know exactly what kind of space we have to deal with. And you guys, I did deal with a little bit of mealybugs in here, and usually what I'll do, I had them pretty much eradicated, but I usually just take a plant stake like this because it gets down in here really easily, and you just kind of clean them out. Smush them if there are any alive ones. I did take a really close look earlier, and I think what I'm seeing in here is just what's left over from what used to be in here. But I'm going to spray the whole thing down with this right here when I'm done. This is something newish that my parents brought in down at the garden center, and I've been just trying it out, and so far it's doing great. Protect with neem oil. It shines and protects houseplant leaves, but I've been using it on things like this as well. So anyway, that's my approach. Let's do our cleanup first, and then I'm going to start plugging in the new Semps to make this one look nice, full, and abundant again. And there it is, all groomed, refreshed, looking so full and beautiful. Oh my goodness. And one of the things I love the best about these Sempervivums is that they are hardy enough to live outside. I mean, we already have some Semps that we planted last year around some of the stones in the pond area. So we're just kind of carrying on with the same theme here. And the container, I think I mentioned, I like the rustic look of it, and it will fit in over there really nicely. And we don't have to hook this sort of arrangement into the drip system because these plants do not want very much water at all, just very occasionally. It'll be perfect to set out there. So let's take it over. Isn't that gorgeous right there? I don't know if it's going to stay there or if it's going to go up on the stump. I kind of have a feeling I'll move it up here, but we need to change the propane. We just ran out last night, the propane tank to this fireplace right here. So anyway, once we swap that out, I have a feeling that this will move back there, which will look really pretty as well, so that we can have our little table freed up for drinks and things. But for now, I think it looks so pretty right there. And a little look at the pond. Still looking super great. I see 11 koi and the fin, right? That's the back, the tail of the fish. I see it, of the shark sticking out from the cave over there. And you guys, that is going to be it for today's projects. I'm really happy with the 3 really that we got done today. Topiary, Japanese maple, succulent refresh there. It's fun just to make new the things that you already have and adjust things so that you can keep your plants happy. And I feel like every year there's always kind of a running list of things that we need to address and do that sort of thing with. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.